Okay, it's 7 p.m. I'd like to call the Planning Commission for the City of Martinsville to order Tuesday, February the 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. First up is roll call.
Lisa Holland.
Lisa, usually,
Oh.
the secretary reads our names and we say,
Okay. Not used to this. Richard Baston,
Here.
Steve Bodie,
here.
Joe Disney,
Present.
Richard Durnell,
Present.
Caleb Forster,
Present.
Rick Heacock,
Here.
Ann Miller, Jason Scott,
Here.
Troy Swan,
Here.
Jim Burkhart.
Present.
Yes, also present is Bob Strader, the building inspector, Kenny Costin, mayor. Dale Coffey is not here tonight. Next is presentation of minutes from January the 27th, 2026. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes?
I have. Steve Bodie, I would move that we accept the written minutes as presented unless anybody has any corrections.
I'll second that.
So Steve Bodie made a motion to accept, Caleb Forrester seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes are accepted. First up on the agenda is old business. Docket number PC 25029. It's a sign of approval in historic downtown district for 10 North Main. Is there anybody here to present this? Mr. Strader, have you had any communication with these on this sign?
Nothing more than what you have in front of you that was presented yesterday to us by email. I will say that the dimensions now of the new renderings match up with what was there before in size.
I hate to cause a local business, restaurant difficulty, but shouldn't petitioners be here in front of us just to step up and say hello and say what it is they need?
Well, you would think so, but that is not something that is in our ordinances. Am I correct in that, Mr. Swan?
Particularly when it comes to site applications, there's nothing in the ordinance that says that the petitioner has to be here.
And I had that question, Mr. Bodie, and I had it answered by Mr. Coffey before the meeting.
So we don't know if any of this is going to be illuminated,
It will be.
all of it, and the picture of the,
I'm not saying that the round disc,
and we don't, let's see, the round disc we think is 38 inches high. And none of it's going to go over the windows, right?
that's, yes, between the two windows.
Okay.
And Mr. Strader, what you're saying is that what they presented is practically the same size as what was there under the Lost House.
This is exactly what was, I presented to them when I sat down with them at the restaurant.
Okay,
The measurements and all. I measured what the old sign was and explained to them that if they come back with that same size sign, they could have already had it up.
And so if I have a question, a member has a question, for the petitioner, what do we do? Fellow members.
Well, Mr. Bodie, I don't have an answer for that.
The only thing we do is table it and request that they come. If they don't come to this meeting to answer the questions we have, then I think you could probably potentially deny it based on the lack of information.
I believe that's exactly what we did a month ago. Richard?
And I think how many times we table it, then all of a sudden it goes away. Is that not correct?
Well, this is a different, to me, it's different than an ordinance, of course. You have an ordinance comes or a subdivision or something. I think they could resubmit the application, but they would have to pay and refile. No different than what they did to begin with, so.
So this was dated 10/30. We heard it on the first night and asked them to come back.
I'm not sure what we need to really cover since it's the exact same size, what we asked for. I'm not sure why we would table it again.
The only concerns I would have is if that circular logo is powered, and how are they getting power to it, because it is disconnected from the text. That's really the only thing I would have, and the only concern I would have, and it's not much of a concern, but just making sure it's not an eyesore or, just, that's it. That's the only,
May I ask a question to that?
yeah.
So are you referring that what you see is okay minus illuminating that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is two signs there as we see, besides the Mexican restaurant below it.
Mhm.
So there is 2 fees there now. And the only other thing would happen is with these two, even the bottom one, that the print would require power.
Right.
So there would be a fee for that power.
And if they run conduit up, if they would stick hold of the building, it would make no difference.
Right. But, yeah, that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
More or less, it's, as long as it blends in, it's fine. If they're sending power up for a conduit or a track or whatever,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Anybody else have any conversation on this? Concerns?
Steve, did you have more thoughts on it, or?
Oh, I was just gonna make a motion that we approve the sign request for docket number 25029 as submitted, so that we could get to a vote, and then I have another comment.
I'll second that.
So Steve Bodie made a motion that we approve docket number PC 25029. Al Miller made a second. Before I ask for a vote, do you have a comment?
Yeah, if there's any discussion, I'm going to vote no, but I don't want to hurt the restaurant. I'd like them to actually be successful and proceed. I'm sure that the signage will be fine. But I think that our petitioners should be here in front of us to answer questions. So I'm going to vote no for the motion I made.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Steve Bodie is
Aye.
opposed. Motion carries.
Before we move on though, I think that somehow, some way, I totally agree with you. And I wasn't here at the last meeting, I think Ann brought up the last meeting, and I saw a little bit of the video. But I don't know how we do that, but I think we need to change
Sounds
the
like it.
ordinance or whatever it takes to make sure that when people present something, if it's gonna be heard, they should be here.
Well, and that was exactly my concern since the last meeting. I've had it on my thought, and I wanted to talk to Mr. Coffey about it tonight. And even though he's not here, Mayor Costin called him so that I could talk to him. And Troy Swan was involved in the conversation. And he assured me that there was nothing that says that an applicant has to be here.
But
So-
I mean, we need to change whatever we need to change to make that happen in my opinion.
And I would like to see the applicants here.
Is that an administrative rule, or is that an ordinance that we would have to get the city council to approve, I wonder?
Yeah.
Anybody
I
know?
mean, you may be able to make it as part of the permit application.
Just make an administrative
I think
change?
that may have to go for the Board of Works for approval.
Well, and that's something that we can, I will carry on this conversation with Mr. Coffey so that way we're prepared for our next meeting.
It seems obvious. I mean, I'm surprised that anybody would think they could apply for something and not have a representative show up. So hopefully we can just do it like an administrative update and not be a big deal.
Correct.
I can understand on a project, but on a sign, if you've got exact dimensions,
But they don't, Richard.
you know, you're looking at, well, Bob would have to know what the dimensions were.
But I don't like staff representing individual citizens. You know, getting information that's important from Bob Strader, from staff, is critical to us. But it sure seems like the petitioners should be here or have a representative here to speak on their behalf.
I agree, for sure.
Now, I try not to sleep during any of these meetings.
Well, I appreciate that.
Hopefully that come out, I'm sorry. So they never, anytime that this was presented originally, they weren't here.
Yes,
They were not.
they were here.
Yeah, okay. So all I would wonder is if they were here in good faith and then we had some questions or whatever, and then they felt like they addressed
Yeah.
those concerns, or maybe they were reassured that, oh yeah, that's all they needed, and that'll be fine, and that'll pass, that maybe they were under the impression that they didn't have to come back again.
Well,
to
and
get
I don't
other
think,
questions answered.
I don't think that was the case with this one.
Okay.
That may, if you're talking generally, that may hold out. But in this case, Mr. Burkhart very clearly told the young lady to work with Mr. Strader, and you said you just got this yesterday?
That's correct.
So this has been ongoing, nobody's contacted Mr. Strader.
Okay.
So, but this, that did get approved. So that motion passed, so they're good on their side. So now we'll go to new business. But I understand everybody's concern, and I will follow up with Mr. Coffey to see what the path is that we need to take, and I'll come back with more information next meeting. Thank you. Next up, new business, docket number PC 26004, remodel and historic downtown district. The address is 65 West Morgan Street. Owner is Jesse Logston. Mr. Logston here. Mr. Logston, I believe, has just bought this building, Mr. Strader, is that correct?
Yes.
Again, Mr. Logston's not here, we just talked about all of this. I see a lot of questions I have, and nobody to answer them, so.
So I'm gonna make a motion, we table this. Next month.
Can I add to that motion, Jim? That we table it and make a request that the petitioner show up or have a representative to answer questions or speak to his.
It looks like he's got a lot of stuff he's gonna do there, and I'd like to find out exactly what he's gonna do.
So Mr. Burkhardt has made a motion that we table this.
I'll
I
second that.
Everybody's seconding, so we're gonna call Caleb Forrester. He was the loudest and first, so Caleb Forrester makes a second that we table this. Mr. Bodie made a recommendation that the petitioner be present. So we'll make that part of this motion. All those in favor?
May I ask a question? How do we do that? Do we ask Mr. Strader just to contact him? Or how do we officially tell this person?
I actually think that we should probably send a letter from the planning commission to Mr. Logston. Should we do that? Lisa?
Yep.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So the motion is for table, and that we send a letter to the petitioner to be present, to explain what he is doing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You made note on that. Thank you. Next up, docket number PC 26005, we have a winner. Sign approval for historic downtown district. Mr. Bennett is in the house. Thank you, sir. This is the third time you've been before us.
Yes.
Thank you for showing up. He knows the routine, he's signing in. Is it Justin, Mr. Bennett?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Justin Bennett.
So, as you guys should have before you, is just a request for some additional signage for my tenant that's in the lease space. We talked about this a few months ago. I'm allotted about 93 square feet of signage on the front of the building. We've used about 60, and in total, this new rendering is about 12 square feet. DG Graphics is the one that's doing it. That's who this proof came from, and it'll be on the east window of the building. And I'm up for any questions that anyone has.
Any questions for Mr. Bennett?
Yeah, Mr. Bennett, the sign rendering that we have, is that, will we be able to see through that, or is that kind of covering the complete window?
It's not covering the complete window. You'll be able to see through that. It's just going to be the white lettering.
It's just
Okay.
die-cast.
Yes.
Gotcha. The reason I asked for members is, it says in our historic downtown code for signs, signs shall not be placed on a building to obscure any window or door opening. So I would agree that that doesn't obscure the window.
And this is in your existing business that you have, that's the real estate business?
So it's, when we redid that building initially, the ask was to have a lease space, my office, and then there's an upstairs as well. But this is for that lease space. So it just conjoins to my building, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've got a wall down the center? and
Yes.
Then there's two different doors?
Two different entry doors, yes. And the county actually had to split up the addresses. That's why the address on the application was different than what it originally was. They did 2 suites downstairs and a completely different address upstairs.
Yeah, if your sign is, this sign for your customer is lettering and numerals only, I don't even know how you figure out what the square footage of that is.
So
but it's not much.
Correct.
Any other questions for Mr. Bennett?
I would make a motion that we approve docket number PC 26006 as presented.
26005.
Sorry. 005.
Rick Durnall has made a motion to approve docket number PC 26005 for sign approval for Bennett Realty.
And Miller seconds.
So we got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Your
Thank you.
building looks great.
Thank
That's
you.
my
Yes,
personal
it
comment.
does.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
You work
you.
very well with us. I appreciate what all you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. Okay, next up on the agenda is revisiting the sign ordinance that I sent to subcommittee, Mr. Durnall, how long ago?
January of 25.
Okay, so the sign ordinance that we had, we approved. We sent it to city council. City council did not like the language in some of it. So it came back to planning commission and I signed it to a subcommittee, which I think we had 3 city council members and 3 planning commission members. I sat in on the subcommittee just to hear what was going on, and we also had
Mike Kirsch.
Mike Kirsch as a citizen involved, and then the gentleman that did the sign ordinance for us. Brad Johnson, there we go. So that kind of brings us up to speed. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Durnall to talk on the sign ordinance.
Rick, may I interrupt
Absolutely.
briefly? You're probably going to talk about this, but I'd love a quick synopsis of the result of that subcommittee. You're getting ready to share that,
Yes,
aren't you?
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, he probably is.
I mean, you shared before, but it's been a while.
Yeah, so Mr. Disney gave a good recap of timing and the membership of the subcommittee. We met in January and got a lot of information out there about what we were looking for. We had several bits of language in it that certain people weren't comfortable with. There was one Supreme Court case that was referenced. We believe that was out of date by this point. So we made some changes. We struck one section. We elaborated on interim signs and added a section about electronic signs with changeable copy to give some guidance on, I'm going to butcher this, luminescence, or how quickly the brightness of a sign can change.
Yes, it was all about brightness.
Yes. So those were some changes that we made. There was a lot of discussion on temporary signage, both size and the duration that it can be out. So we came back to our second meeting with ideas on how to amend the ordinance. I think we had pretty decent attendance at the second one. I believe maybe one of the council representatives was not at the second meeting, but I would have to go back and check my notes on that. We gave our suggestions to Brad Johnson, and then on, I believe it was March the 5th, we met a third time, and that seemed like kind of a formality. We didn't have a lot of attendance at that one, if my memory is correct, but Brad had presented us with the updated ordinance as he wrote it out, with the changes that we requested highlighted in red. So at that point, I had hoped to have a full subcommittee so that we could maybe get on the same page. Is this the ordinance that we wanted to bring back to Plan Commission and vote on? I'm not sure that we quite got to that point. But we do have, I have a copy of what Mr. Johnson provided us, so. I don't know if we want any, I mean, we can present it as the subcommittee left it, and if anybody has issues with those changes, we can certainly, that would be the time to adjust, so.
Did we each receive a copy of the redlined final? I don't recall.
No.
Okay.
And I don't remember the exact reasoning. Like I said, I felt like I was unclear if the subcommittee was in total agreement or not. So it never actually came back to us to look at as a plan commission.
That was a very good politically correct response.
And when you say it didn't come back to us, we have the ability to bring it up anytime we so choose, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
As a plan commission, we may suggest an ordinance and recommend that the city council review and approve it.
Yes.
Including speak at the city council meeting if that would be helpful. Right?
Right.
So that is up to us, but it would be not useful if we have reason to believe it won't be approved. So that's why we work together with the city council, I'm sure.
Yes. I don't know. Jim and Ann were both in there as well, so feel free to jump in. I know there was a little concern from Mr. Oakes. I think he wanted to see a little more guidance come back to the Plan Commission on what was wanted from the council. And honestly, the thing that I felt like was kind of bombarded with was the temporary sign part of it. So.
Yeah, we spend an awful lot of time talking about temporary sign and the duration of temporary signs. And personally, I don't think there was ever a consensus of the people around the table. And I think we were close. Maybe, by the last meeting, I'd say maybe one person. But with that being said, I think from what I can say about the new ordinance, it's not as restrictive as the original. And like I said, they cleaned up the language. Personally, I don't have anything. I mean, I think it goes back, but it's and if they reject it, then they reject it. That's all I can say.
Well, we can have Mr. Johnson put together, we can contact him and have him put together what the conversation was, and we can put it back on the agenda as old business and give everybody a copy of the updated next meeting, if you'd like to. And
do you mean get it to us in advance so that we can be prepared
if we can
for
get
the
it
next
in
meeting?
advance,
That'd be great.
yes, that
Okay.
way we can read through it. They're really from what I have here that we sent to city council, there's not a lot of changes to it.
Does that suggest that unless something has changed in some city council members' opinions, they're going to vote it down again?
The biggest thing in this is temporary signs. We spent a lot of time between our private citizen that is a former plan commission member
Mhm.
that wrote the original, and a city council member bickering back and forth.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of that subcommittee was about. And it was a shame.
And that didn't get resolution, and Jim? Rick?
By the third meeting,
Well, I think there was a lot of give and take. And I think for the record, I would like to state that as the ordinance was originally presented, it is no more strict regarding temporary signs than what we currently have on the books right now. If it's an enforcement issue, that's outside of our jurisdiction.
Mhm.
But we have an ordinance that has some fundamental concerns
Right.
legally.
That
Is it
need-
enforceable? This takes care of that. Honestly, my position is some of the language that we corrected, I liked. I think in an effort to placate a group, we have made one section several times more confusing.
Hmm.
If you're talking about the temporary signs?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, we tried to extend the time a little, because how it's written now, it's 30 days a year. And we have several examples where obviously that's been completely disregarded.
Mhm.
But the new ordinance is written the exact same way as the old one as far as temporary signs go. If they're placed in a right-of-way, it needs to go before the Board of Works for an approval. So as Joe kind of mentioned, a lot of time was spent trying to cater
appease.
to one very vocal party.
And you're talking about trying to reach some compromise, and if one person on the city council doesn't care for the sign ordinance, it may certainly pass the city council with one no vote.
Correct.
Okay.
It seemed like it was somewhat slanted against one particular vendor with the sign ordinance, and so we didn't want to, this other councilman and myself and Mr. Badger, we did not want to pick on one particular vendor with this particular sign ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And what outcome came of that?
Well, we just never did get to a concrete outcome, I don't think.
So
Okay.
the answer to that, Steve, is that the existing sign ordinance is worse for that particular vendor than the new sign ordinance.
That's how I
Yes.
comprehend it.
In the particular person in question that was argumentative on this, his biggest complaint was, we don't have cannot be brought up again.
And we were also concerned with a point that we were trying to figure out too, exactly how bright is too bright. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think did we ever come to a concrete decision on that?
I think in the final draft, Mr. Johnson had used some numbers that are very kind of boilerplate. I mean, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
Right.
Several other communities around us, other counties, our own county already have ordinances on the books that deal with signage. So a lot of what was presented is kind of boilerplate. It's standard with other ordinances that are currently being enforced. So,
And something like brightness probably is measurable by this ordinance in some fashion. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Jason's
Yeah.
probably more
Yeah.
well-versed on that. I really need to see Dr. O'Neill. I can't read
As far as
anything.
brightness goes, are we talking the billboards that change, or are we talking?
Any of the signage that, like over here at the new theater, the brightness of that sign, as it changes. There's a digital message board down here at the Legion. You can set the brightness. I've got a digital message board at my business. You can change the brightness. And I think that's the wordage that was in there.
That's short. Yeah.
But it was all, as Rick said, boilerplate, because Mr. Johnson writes ordinances for cities all across Indiana. So it's not something that, and he made a comment during subcommittee. He said, I'm not going to put something in here that handcuffs people. That's not what the mayor is interested in, and I'm not interested in writing an ordinance to that effect.
Yeah, I believe that the final on that was, the electronic changeable copy brightness shall not exceed 0.2 foot candles above ambient light levels day or night. Now, I can't claim to know what that means, but it sounds.
I know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it can be measured, but, I mean, it's mostly gonna be a visual thing, so obviously if you see it and it just stands out, you're gonna wanna take action if something's bad, but yeah, it's not.
Right.
But they also have 30 days to fix it.
Yeah.
That's it, too.
The other thing, and I don't know if tonight's the proper time or not, since not everybody's looking at this, but something I've noticed in our comprehensive plan versus our ordinances, they threw a map in on here, which is our downtown commercial historic district.
You're talking about the sign ordinance?
Yes,
Okay.
because this does also include our downtown signage with a little bit clearer language concerning window signs, I might add. But something that I would point out, and I don't know if we need to address this at some point, but this map is what the National Register of Historic Places uses as the downtown boundaries. Our city ordinance simply states the courthouse square and the surrounding 8 blocks around that. It doesn't specify cut in and cutouts of certain properties. We might, if Mr. Coffey was here, I would ask him, that seems like something that needs to be cleaned up, because we might have, for example, Home Bank. According to this map, they're not in our commercial historic district, but the way our ordinance is written, they would be.
You may be talking about two different things, though.
Okay.
Potentially, you geographically, you may have some sort of mapping based on a state registry type situation versus
Yeah.
what is defined within the ordinance as a historic downtown.
By,
There's
bordered
overlay.
by named streets.
Yeah.
Which seems pretty clear to me. And we get to decide, the city through ordinance decided, here's a boundary, and inside this, you have to paint everything red, and outside it, you don't.
Yeah. I find that whenever we, even in our comprehensive plan, it actually shows the National Register boundaries, not what our own ordinance shows as it's written. So just more food for thought, I guess, but.
Some of that's because, I'm going to say this out loud, some historians someplace may not know what's really right for the city of Martinsville because they don't live here. So there's that flexibility of the community scene where it allows you to define those limits that's actually applicable due to what's going on within the city itself. So it gives you some flexibility because you do control your own way.
Okay.
So we're gonna reach out to Brad Johnson and ask him to, give us a final on this sign ordinance. Rick, would you like to do that?
I can, yes, I have his
Okay.
email address, I'll reach out to him this week.
Okay.
I'm with Steve though, is there any way we can get a copy of that prior to, I mean, the packets go out, but it'd be nice to have it, you know,
Yes.
at least more advanced than when the packets come out, so we can actually review it.
I can, I mean, if it's okay, I can scan this and email it to Lisa,
Yeah.
and she can forward it to everybody
That'd be great.
tomorrow.
And you say it's kind of redlined, I mean, it's red lettered?
Yes, yes.
Where the changes from the original draft?
Yep,
And I think as a group, as members of this commission, we should look at it carefully again. We did this quite a while ago, a couple of years ago, but look at it carefully, and if we think that it's appropriate and reasonable, then we should wholeheartedly have that discussion, vote, and then pass it on. And it probably would be prudent for some of us to attend a city council meeting where we believe it's going to be read or heard to speak about it.
I agree. Steve, we nominate you.
I nominate Rick instead. I won't be there that meeting.
Jim and I are at a lot of them anyway, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rick speaks much better at those than I do, so.
Rick, did you have something else you wanted to talk about?
Oh, just, and I'm glad we got through tonight's agenda. I will take ownership of this. After our last meeting, we had some illness in my household, and I was operating under the assumption that the building department had our proposed addition to the downtown applications. They did not, so that none of the applications that we received tonight were given that information. So I took care of that today, and it'll be there going forward, so.
Great.
It's already been changed and taken care of.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Does anybody else have any discussion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Rick Durrell made a motion to adjourn.
Troy.
Troy Swan,
Yeah.
up on deck. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next regular session meeting will be Tuesday, March the 24th at 7 p.m. 2026, meeting adjourned.
Obviously.